The Skills4Life project is a 2-year Arts Council funded programme, and we go into 5 different schools in our local area. The first day is an introductory day, and the children get to build a house from scratch in a day, which is very exciting for them. They build a small timber-framed house that's effectively like a 3D jigsaw, and it's big enough for just about the whole class to fit in. And then we come back for 6 weeks, an afternoon a week, and they make a project, and there's always 3 activities for them to choose from, so we run 3 groups in parallel.
Our project focuses on the fine motor skills that children need to be able to manipulate materials into finished projects, and what we're giving them is a building block that they can use later on in life when they get older in secondary school or as adults, whether they want to become a brain surgeon or a plumber or carpenter. So we're teaching girls to use saws and hammers. We're teaching boys to sew. So within our project, we're hoping that we can open different doors for boys and girls to consider different options for themselves in the future.
So we feel that we are contributing something that is currently missing from education because of an excessive focus on academic work, measurable academic outcomes, and also excessive screen time, and that's not just obviously not just at school but also at home.
Well, I think it's important to teach children to work with their hands because it helps their brains. Their brains are attached to their hands, and it's something different from using a pen and paper all day. I mean, it's what human beings were made for, to use their hands and to attend to the things that they needed in life.
There are a lot of transferable skills that they can use from learning with our craft sessions.
Dexterity and problem solving.
They have to work on a project for a long time, so that really teaches them perseverance, and they will need a lot of stamina just to push through all the difficulties that the project brings with it.
Anchor chain, can you help me knot this?
Actually, we didn't start with the corner.
We've chosen the projects that we're teaching in schools specifically because the materials we're using are all available locally and often for free.
My purposes are 2. One is to introduce people to the fact that clay is all around us, under our feet. It's a natural material and it's been used for millennia to make things by people. And another is to allow people to enjoy the process of making clay in their hands, creating something that wasn't there before, and knowing that with clay fire, they're making something that can also last for millennia.
With the children in the schools, we're working with the felt that's made from local breeds, and we're also working with leftover leather, if you like, scrap leather. And what's so nice about them is that they feel like something, they feel like a real thing. So there's a tactile sensation, which often the children really remark on. It's as if they haven't really been feeling materials in that kind of way.
Learning craft skills is really beneficial for children's mental health and well-being because it takes you into the moment. You have to really focus on what you're doing because of the hand-eye coordination that's involved. It really brings you to the present, where it just is really, really great just to focus on what's going on right now and to not to think about the past or the future or all the worries that may bring, because you really, really have to be there to have to be in the moment with craft skills.
I think making is good for mental health and well-being because of the connection between hand and mind. Because while you're making something, you can become lost in the process. Because you can feed off the people around you. You can talk about what you're doing or become so involved that you're not talking about what you're doing.
I think so much is instant in our society at the moment that actually the biggest thing is to slow children down. And it does take a number of weeks, and that's actually really nice because there are also moments where we sit around and chat and while we're working, and it's just a generally, hopefully a sort of restorative and pleasant afternoon that we can spend together. And then at the end, they've got something that they can be super proud of because they've made themselves a little pair of slippers.
Really, in order to educate children as a whole person with head, heart, hands, it's an old cliche, but it definitely describes something that's incredibly important. We need to have all these elements in our education. It's incredible when you do give this opportunity, what comes back from the children as the satisfaction they feel when they've produced something, and the stamina they develop, and the fact that also you're taking the feedback away from other people. So the things that they get to produce over 6 weeks that they've worked really hard on are that feedback in themselves. They've created something that's beautiful and useful, and it's not someone else's opinion whether you've done well or not.
Children working with their hands is a really important lesson to learn that they can make and do things which they see around them and might think of as impossible.
Learning with those aspects all in unison, like the academic learning, the sensorial experiences that we have through working with materials, and the motor skills, is actually how learning evolved. It never evolved just to be through audiovisual channels. And the brain in children doesn't develop like that. So that's actually something we need to bring more into schools again.
And at the end, they see a project that they've made, that they've finished, and it boosts their self-esteem.
They get to take something home that they have made over those 6 weeks.